All right, howdy, and welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. This is my new LS400, 1994. So we're gonna switch things up a little bit on the channel. I'm not gonna talk about a Rover, but I'm gonna talk about something that's better than a Rover. And in fact, some might say it's better than a Mercedes or a comparable BMW at the time. This is a first-gen Lexus LS400. It's a 94 model, which is pretty much, I'm pretty sure, the last model year of this body style before it changed to the 95, 96, which is a little bit wider. And it was also Lexus's, I don't know, I'd say their first foray, but their most financially taxing foray into the luxury automobile market. And we're going to go through the car and you might understand why I think that. So to start off, there's not a whole lot on these cars. I mean, obviously everyone knows they are quiet, luxurious, and they sold well. But this was a huge marketing car for Lexus at the time. There's a lot of money that went into the development of it. They really gave it their best shot, and they nailed it, I think, from a design aspect and from a powertrain aspect, and pretty much, you know, the whole package with this car. It really was a game changer and kind of a turning point for the company. And you know, I remember seeing these as a kid. My friend's dad actually had one. This was the car that we got driven around in the early 90s, as well as a 98 Land Cruiser. So it's funny when you talk about some of these cars and you end up buying some of these cars, you know, there is a backstory and there's a reason why certain models and whatnot caught your attention. So that's the full disclosure on this car. I, you know, kind of fell into my lap, couldn't pass up the opportunity. This particular car is obviously not perfect. It's got 220-some thousand miles. It's had a couple of owners, but it's black on black. It's a 400 with the UZJ or whatever V8, and it's in pretty decent condition, honestly. Aftermarket radio, everything seems to work except for the tilt on the steering wheel, but it drives like a dream. It absolutely floats down the road. Has good pickup. It's not too quick, obviously. 4-speed auto, V8, probably 250-ish horsepower. But again, that's not really what it's about. This is not a speed and power car. This is a luxury cruiser car. So let's jump inside and I'll give you a quick walk around of what the interior of these looks like. And it's different if you're used to comparing it to the German alternatives. You know, I'm a Mercedes S-Class W126, W140 guy, which is what this would directly compare to. But I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably a better S-Class, a better 7 Series, and a much more efficient and livable alternative for the most part, which, you know, I think might be controversial to some people that watch my channel. But, you know, there's something about a Lexus and a Toyota that just really, it's the consistency of the quality of these cars, regardless of what the owner's condition or how the upkeep was. They all pretty much run, and they're all pretty smooth, and they all kind of put your smile on the face. But the way Lexus did luxury, you know, they threw the whole kitchen sink at it. So let's check out some of the odd quirks and features, Doug DeMiro, that this car has. All right, so let's start off with the key. Normal looking Lexus key, except for one interesting little feature that it has. Again, this is a 94. See that button right there? That's the lock unlock. This car has keyless entry integrated into the key. I mean, I wish more cars had this. You know, the Land Cruiser has it, but it's on the buttons right there, and they break and whatnot sometimes. But you know, that is a cool feature. Jumping into the driver's seat, leather seats are in amazingly good condition. I wonder if they've ever been, I feel like they've probably been redone or something at some point. But the first thing you notice on the door is this seatbelt button. And this actuates, and it works. The driver and the passenger has one as well, seatbelt position sensors. You can also turn the remote on and off from the driver's seat. Mirror adjustments right on the driver's side, as well as your locks. I guess I'm assuming it's your trunk. I guess instead of having a valet key, Lexus were able to lock with the key the trunk and the gas tank for whatever reason. All right, you also have fully power adjustable seats with lumbar. Again, these are features that, you know, they weren't offered on a lot of vehicles, especially, you know, in the 90s. And this general seat design, I'm pretty sure, stayed with the company for a long time. This particular model has tilt-away auto. which the up and down doesn't work, probably from thousands of miles of use. But let's jump into the cluster as well. I'm sure you saw on the startup that it fades in. So there's, it's projected, and there's a backlight or a backlit portion of it, which illuminates different than any other speedometer. There's the fire up. And if you can't really tell in the video, but see the track in the back there, how it's moving? Yeah, so some of the warning buttons and lights and stuff are recessed into the back. Also, you've got your temp and your odometer readout. This particular car has the brake pad sensor warning and a track light, probably from a faulty sensor because the brakes feel okay. But again, really, really interesting. It feels premium, it feels quality. It's unfortunate that the wheel is stuck in this current position. But if you look on my right-hand side, look at this. Here's your phone controls. And let's get to that in a second. All right, talk about nostalgia. This model has a factory car phone, and it's still installed. And guess what? It still powers up. No service. How cool is that? I mean, most cars, especially of this vintage, had these pretty interesting car phones, but none of them are still powered up. None of them are still connected, and all of them are still pretty nasty. And that's also to be said, look, there's a small ventilation blower here to give you a little bit of HVAC. Now, obviously, it goes into the passenger compartment in the back, but when you have it here, it'll probably help circulate air through whatever you have in the glove box as well. All right, other features. Standard Prindle up and down gear shifter majigger. Looks like it's the same one from the 100 Series Land Cruiser. Obviously, again, I feel like these cars share out some similar layouts. You've got the extra power button, and normal doesn't really do much, just increases your revs. Normal cigarette lighter, blah blah blah. But here's another one, push, and it's a little bit broken, but cup holders kind of recessed into the center console there, which is pretty neat. And luckily that still locks. You've got your overdrive off and on button, and then your passenger seats controls. You also have heated seats and track off. Track is different from the stability control, which I think is associated with the light that's in the back, as you can see there. But yeah, cruise control, all your normal features, black headliner, black interior, just a neat little package. Nothing too crazy in the glove box. I do have the original Lexus cassette that shows you how to use the car, which is interesting, obviously, and your original oh look, is this the original window sticker? It is the original window sticker. Wow. Ooh man, hold on, let me undo this. All right, here you go. Original window sticker. 56,000 new in 1994. Someone do the math for me. Yep, 94. There's the VIN. Port of New York. Manufacturers, retail, memory system, carpeted floor mats. Not so great. Gas mileage 23, 18. Oh look, dealer name, New York. Sweet. Well, I didn't know I had that, so that makes this way more interesting. Again, the gentleman I bought it from said that it was purchased from the original owner, so that might help back it up a little bit. All right, coming around to the back. Pretty decently large back seat. Let me see if I fit. I do fit. My head touches, slightly, but it's not terrible. Cigarette lighter. I've got the original radio here in the back as well. I don't think it works. That's probably why another one's installed. But again, nice place to be. Very 90s, very Lexus. Most of these Lexus Toyota products all have the same very solid door feel. And the controls, everything, it's very uniform. It's very high quality. It doesn't rattle or shake, and it just, it's consistent. It feels nice, and it's kind of nostalgic once you jump in the back of one of these. All right, now in the back, you've got a few other interesting features that I don't really see most in other cars. Now, Lexus, BMW, Mercedes, they're all kind of, they keep the first aid kits and stuff kind of in the back area, which get destroyed in the sun, and you find them in junkyards. But here, Lexus, it's right there. Still intact, it's still, you know, complete, because most people don't mess with these. You've got your CD changer as well. Looks like it's probably never been used. Open, probably doesn't work. And then this one's interesting too, your integrated toolkit with, it just folds down, branded Lexus everything. Super neat. It is complete, which is also pretty nice. And what do you got here? Oh, there's your CD stuff. Period AAA controller and a full-size spare. So pretty much everything you need. Again, doesn't disappoint. So just a real quick walk around of this particular Lexus LS. The owner had the wheels plastidip, so I tried to peel that off. That was kind of a pain in the butt. And they also had these kind of terrible chrome arches on there, which I might put back on because they're kind of period, but not really my thing. But the car looks great. You know, you got some paints, some water spots and whatnot in the hood from being a black car that sat outside. But you know, these things are great, and it's more of a driver's car than it's something that looks department. You know, you do have some W124 vibes to it, but it's a little smaller, it's a little narrower, and it feels a little more smooth if that's possible. So let's take it out on the road and go for a quick spin. All right, and we're off. Buttery smooth. You know, this is not the model, but close to the model that Matt Farah took to almost 1 million miles. Let's pull out. A little bit of wheel spin. That was not foot to the floor, but pretty close. Again, this thing is not speed and power, but it has a nice little rumble to it. I don't know if that audio will pick up, but again, this is what it's made for. Cruising. Smooth, relatively fuel efficient, confident. You know, it doesn't feel like an old car, obviously. And you know, early W140, W126 Mercedes don't feel like old cars either, but they kind of look older. You know, this still, you know, obviously it didn't age super well, but it does, you know, it does blend in. If it was in better condition, it would age, I think, probably a little bit better. But everything's nice, soft touch, nice leather. Again, kind of as expected. You know, I really do think this is a better alternative, at least now, to a comparable, you know, S-Class W140 500. I know slightly less things to worry about. Definitely delivers a better ride. Probably a better sound system. Silky smooth, 4-speed. I'm not sure whether or not the W140s of that era, I think they were still, they might have had some digital gauges, but I know the early like 92s, 93s still had mechanical odometers and trip meters and whatnot. So this, you know, jumping in one of those and jumping into one of these, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, it feels like a complete spaceship compared to that. But again, it's nice, quiet, good place to be. And again, the dash readout is cool. And it kind of kept this general look for over 10 plus years, all the way almost into the 2000s. I remember my friend's dad also had 2001, which is very similar. So nothing too much to report, no major rattles. I mean, this particular model probably could use some discs or something, but as far as just cruising around like I've been doing, it's perfect. And even with 226,000 miles, it just doesn't feel like it. You know, I had an Avalon last week with the same amount of miles, and again, AC worked, keyless entry worked, starts right up, drives smooth. You wouldn't even tell. And that's why most of these cars, they've got, you know, over 300,000 miles. You know, and maintenance and reliability is not terrible on these either. You know, I know there's some issues with blowing out alternators due to oil or power steering leaking onto them every once in a while, but you know, it's just old car stuff. It's just stuff you have to monitor and, you know, just kind of keep track of. These are inexpensive, and I don't really see them going up in price anytime soon because they made a lot of them. But, you know, it's definitely a different experience. I have not driven a first gen, so I'm kind of happy I've been able to experience this. And if you are looking to buy one, definitely check it out. But get it from a good owner that took care of it. You know, a lot of these are ragged out and dropped, and I mean, if they're lifted, that's way cooler. I wish I could get this lifted, but yeah, it's a neat car. Let's take a couple pictures and do another walk around while it's running.